Yeah.
We can get into that, but I want to go to games because that's more fun. And I want to start with something that you complained about last time we were together. Too many ports,
Yeah.
and now we have GTA
Yeah.
San Andreas coming to Oculus Quest 2. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, yeah. So my complaint was I don't want this to be the norm. Like Quest is only capable of older IPs. Again, GTA San Andreas is almost 20 years old. It's like 17 or
PlayStation
something.
2 level is where we're going right now.
Yeah, and that's one of the comments you always see people like ragging on VR for. It's like, oh, the Quest is so stupid. I don't need to go back to PlayStation 2 graphics, and they literally are. I mean, Resident Evil, they upgraded the graphics. They did. They redid the texture.
Impressive.
It looked good for a Quest game. It looked good.
Yeah.
But I mean, they definitely made it look better than the original. Great. But I just, I want to be able to consume some, new material, a new IP, go into something and get intrigued. And rehashing old games that I played 20 years ago. Mind you, 20 years ago, I was, in my gaming prime. That 20 years ago, I'm 20. So between your teenage years and your mid 20s, is when you're gaming the hardest. So I've experienced these a lot. Again, that's a selfish viewpoint. That's me. These ports are really good for Quest. They're really good for the company. They're really good for sales. But it's just not what I am looking for.
It'll also be interesting. I was thinking about this when they announced GTA 4. I made a mental assumption that the average age of an Oculus Quest user was younger. How young? I don't know, but I was thinking somewhere in the 18 to 26 range, maybe. But looking at the games that are being ported, if I had to make an assumption that Oculus and Facebook were making games that appealed to the majority of their user base, maybe I'm wrong. I have no info, so I'm speculating here. But it seems like maybe the average age of an Oculus Quest user is a little older than I assume, because I would say mid-20s or early 20s to mid-30s is when the height of GTA San Andreas, where those users are at now, is somewhere mid-20s, early 30s, which was interesting. So I'm wondering if the average age of an Oculus user right now is older than I expected, because I don't know, GTA 4 is, like you said, is an older game, and the people who were playing that specifically at the time are mid-20s, early 30s right now. Does that surprise you at all?
I don't know. I think they're covering because there are definitely younger people on the platform.
Oh yeah.
There are definitely younger people on the platform, and I think there's the early adopters are older, 30s ish, looking for to get into the new level of gaming. So I think this actually appeals to both of those groups. You have the nostalgia and the people who are younger and never experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think a little bit in that middle there, those people don't exist. You have a little bit older and a little bit younger, and it appeals to both. And I think that's probably why they're going this route.
Last thing on GTA though. So we know to a degree that Resident Evil 4 for VR got censored a bit. I will not rattle off what they censored because I don't know it. I just know that there was a couple scenes that alluded to a woman's chest that was cut. It didn't seem like any. I played Resident Evil 4 VR and the original, and I was having so much fun. I didn't notice anything was cut, but I wasn't really paying attention to the cutscenes that much. I don't like cutscenes in VR. But it was interesting that they censored anything of RE4, and then GTA San Andreas gets announced. Because I don't think you can censor that game.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what do we expect?
I mean, there's dialogue that can be changed, but obviously that's a very R-rated title.
Yes.
Yeah, with very adult themes. So on the censorship topic, this one drove me nuts because I can't tell you the number of comments I got. Like, you should have spoke about the censorship more. This is ridiculous. I'd never buy this game. The game's ruined. And I'm like, all right. The stuff they cut out is a little bit of dialogue at the end where a little bit of flirting, hitting on. There's one point where Leon directly comments about Ashley's breasts. It's a corny line, like the president equipped you with giant ballisticas or something stupid. I can't remember exactly what it is. But it's corny and it doesn't even feel like it translated properly. But the concept of censorship is forced. You're trying to say something, you get shut down. No, you're not allowed to say that. Facebook, for whatever reason, whatever entity of Facebook, legal team, whatever, decided to say, listen, some of these lines are a little, I don't know, risque, or we don't think they should be on the platform.
It could be Capcom. Don't forget that, though, real quick, because Capcom could have said, hey, our game aged, we want changes. It could have been both.
So I read it reported from The Verge and maybe IGN, I believe. And the way the story was reported was Facebook made the request to Capcom, and Capcom agreed.
Thank you.
Now, here's the thing. Right there, it's not censorship. Capcom said, okay, you want these lines changed? Okay. They own the IP. The game, if they had such a disagreement with this, the game wouldn't have got produced. Now, you can argue that they, weighed dollar signs versus censorship, but I think, like many other people, they didn't see this as a big deal. Okay, these are dopey lines. It's not changing the integrity of our product.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, in 2021, the second you meet a woman, to instantly comment on her breasts is just not appropriate. It's just not appropriate to any degree. Like, I'm sorry, that stuff just shouldn't be in there. It's weird and awkward, and kids are going to emulate stuff they see. So, another little tiny thing they pulled out is Ashley calls you a pervert if you try and look up her skirt. So they still have the animation she covers up, but she doesn't say pervert, because I guess they don't want a bunch of, younger kids running around yelling pervert. I don't know. I can't say why they made the decision, but I don't see it as censorship, and it didn't impact the game.
Great.
So it's a nonsense topic.
But it will be interesting to see what the hell they decide to do with GTA 4, because there's
GTA
or GTA 2, San Andreas. Excuse me.
San Andreas. It's gonna have no hookers and no guns.
Can't run them over. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. Hit that subscribe button to stay on top of the daily clips, or catch the debates and fireside chats live on the main channel down in the video description. See you next time, Space Cowboys.